Thanks, Kiran. Good evening, everyone. I still remember when I was in class 8th, our class teacher made one of the notorious student as the class monitor. As I wondered why he was made the monitor, why not me? Thinking myself as the most disciplined person or the student in the class. But I didn't get the answer that time. But when I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, I got the answer recently. So the answer is the teacher was trying to give a fine reputation to the most notorious student. So in our day-to-day life, we are dealing with people around us, above us, and below us. So the maximum issue we face in our corporate life or personal life is people. So whenever we are dealing with people, we have to, there will be few exceptional cases who will not live up to our expectations. They will always try to do the things on their own way, and they will be the most notorious to deal with. Now, how to deal with them so that your work is not impacted? Because without them, as Vijay shared in our last session, so people is kind of the necessary evil. We have to deal with people, and without them, you cannot succeed, right? So, so to deal with such kind of exceptional people, so you need to give a fine reputation so that they will live up to that expectation. You cannot blame them. If you blame them, they will take it negatively. So instead of that, how to positively deal with them? Just give them a fine reputation. For example, tell them you are doing it right, or you are a maker, or whatever is there. Something is their strength, right? Or give some reputation that, or something that you want them to be. Give that, and they will try to achieve that. So that's one aspect. Second is always encourage. Whenever we are speaking to people, we should encourage others to speak about themselves, their problems. Instead of jumping to our problems and our achievements, we should encourage others. So that is the second way we can deal with people. And uh, third is genuine. Be genuine. Sometimes whenever we are trying to doing something, it appears that we are trying to make it tough. So, but how to deal with it? Be honest and try to be in other people's shoes. Try to be understand the problems from their perspective instead of our perspective. So these are the some of the key ideas. So I have made an acronym called as regret. If you don't do it, you'll regret it. R is for reputation, E is for encourage to talk about themselves, G is for genuine. So next is regret, right? G, then R, E, T. So in our next session, I will be covering the next three parts, like regret, genuine,
So that belongs to the humankind.
Exactly. In fact, that is where you will really understand how to come out of it. In case all of you, when you start reading this chapter called Desire, and when you start connecting with that chapter with the first chapter of Rich Dad Poor Dad, you will see a secret actually. And just need padha hua, they can privately message me. I will share that secret with all of you, because if you can really understand that particular understanding which the author is trying to tell, then आप उस trap में फंसोगे नहीं. Because what Prakash told already कि यार fear एक जो trap है, it is not something very new. Everyone have some fear. सब लोग job कर रहे हैं, कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं. Most of us we work because अगर यार काम नहीं करेंगे तो survival कैसे रहेगा? And that fear drives us. हमारे घर पे कितने भी कुछ भी हो जाए, we will still working because we know कि we need to survive. But to go beyond that survival and create significance, there has to be some gap, and that gap can be fulfilled with something which I'll share with all of you personally. So ping me whatever your understanding is, then I'll share with everyone. Thank you so much, Prakash. It is really wonderful the way you shared with all of us.
Thank you.
Great. So we'll move to the next speaker then. Charanjit, you can go ahead.
Kiran, I will talk after one speaker. Then I
Sure,
will
sure,
talk.
sure. Then we'll go to Sahil. You have raised your hand. You have prepared your topic as well. Review ho gaya kya? Sahil, you can,
Uh,
if you can
yeah, I can go.
go ahead. Sahil, if it is possible, do switch on your video. I'll spotlight.
Okay. My topic would be from the first chapter from Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. So I've read the first chapter, and my basic understanding of I could very well relate to the first chapter about the instances that were mentioned. So first thing, my crux of the first chapter was, never let your curiosity, or never let your being practical or being able to think through not get down. Actually, I was also by chance having seeing the interview of Neil deGrasse Tyson, a very famous astrophysicist. So he said that
Today I'm going to talk about chapter from the book You Can Win. This has been written by Sip Kheda, and the first chapter is the importance of attitude. Okay? So in this chapter, he's talking about attitude, how attitude define our success, how it can improve our life and do better in our life. So this chapter started with this story as that I will share with you. Uh, there was a fair in which there was balloon seller. He was selling all color of balloon, black, white, green, yellow, all those kind of balloon. And whenever his sales was going down, he was raising one of the balloon of helium filled, and it was going up, and children were seeing that balloon and they were coming back to him. So sales was increasing. So he was selling like this. So every time he was thinking that his sales is going down, he was raising his helium filled balloon, and children were again coming back to him. So his sales was going up. So he was doing like this for many times. So after some time, there was a itch in his leg, and this balloon seller sees this. There is one small child. He was pulling his not pulling but pushing his the leg that he was um, like he wanted to ask something. So he asked like this innocent question: if I push this black color balloon, will this also go that high that the other colors are going? So he said, it is not the color that pulls the balloon up. It is the helium that is fit inside the balloon. So this story tells lots of things about our life. This is not our skin color, not our height, our race, anything to do with the success. This is our attitude, which is fit inside our head, which is what we are thinking about the life, which is the attitude that we are having towards the things that we are having in our life. So this is all about the attitude, because we all know, like in our we all face challenges, or lots of people in our life in this world, they face the similar kind of challenges, but all the people, they see those challenges as different things. Like some people see challenges of opportunity, some people see challenges as problem, like this big. So everyone has the attitude to see the challenges in their life. There is one more story from the Bible, that David and Goliath. You may have heard about it. So David was a small boy, and Goliath was a huge, this monster. So he was fighting with the monster. So David was very small boy, and he think that how can I defeat that monster. So he thought that this monster is so big, I can hit him in any direction. Like I can hit a small stone and it will hit him. This doesn't matter. I have to kill him, but it will certainly impact him, right? So this is what David was thinking, and at the end David was able to defeat Goliath. So this is the importance of attitude in our life that can help us achieve anything that we want. Thanks.
Amazing, amazing, Rohit.
Topic is regarding uh, how to think big from a book named Magic of Thinking Big. So before starting my learning, I will ask one question. Why some people remain employee throughout their career or their whatever job they are into, and some become CEO and some start their own ventures. Why only they get success and they achieve such a high position, and we and most of us don't? Because everything starts from thinking big. Okay, though they have the same qualification, one person may have passed out from the IIT, the another person also has done the same, but one is thinking only to pursue a career like settling in a career that he is into, and one is dreaming about starting his own venture maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line. So this is all about thinking big. but most of us are unfortunate nowadays that we don't think in that direction. So my learning is really pointing to that topic where I will highlight some points how we can start thinking big. Uh, so I will start with some brief examples that we all come across. Like suppose you saw one advertisement in a paper or maybe on a portal or maybe LinkedIn, okay, that you think it's a best job that you can get into and that is most suitable for you. But somehow you are thinking that I'm not good enough for that job, so we don't apply for that. Like we are doubting ourselves that we are not capable of doing that job. Another example is that when you get selected somewhere, okay, and HR asks you what are your expectations, you always give, like, I will take my example. I always used to say, okay, as per the company standard, like 30%, 40%. Why? Don't I know my actual potential, whether I am capable of getting only 30% and not 50% or maybe 100%? So that is where this magic of thinking big book plays a very crucial role that will change our life. So how we can change it, I will give some tips which I have learned from this chapter. It talks about just to measure your true size of potential, just determine your 5 chief assets, like in terms of education, experience, technical skills, appearance, your attitude and personality, and try to find at least 3 person in your life who is having a less knowledge in these areas in comparison to you, but they are highly successful. Then you will come to know that, okay, if they can achieve that amount of success, then I have more qualified in terms of, I would say, academic, then why can't I? So so this is one of the way that you can start with, and everything starts from the positive words and the phrases that you use. Your size and the number of words will not going to work. You have to your words should actually affect the people thinking. So I will give some examples around that. Suppose in a corporate world, suppose if you are a manager, okay, you are leading a group of teams, okay, and there is one project was going on, and the result which came, and you have to announce to the team that, okay, if you are not thinking big, you will say like, okay, I'm sorry to report that we have failed. What do these people see? They see defeat, they see disappointment, they see grief, they see that word fail itself conveying that they have failed, disappointment. Now suppose if you are positive thinker, you are thinking big, this statement can be replaced with a wording like, here is a new approach that I think which will work. That will indicate, that will reveals to those people that you are encouraging them to do and try it again. Okay. The another example is, suppose there is some challenge, there is some problem, and you say we face a problem, and we have created a picture in our mind that ki, this is something very difficult, unpleasant that we cannot solve. Instead of saying, just start with saying that ki, we face a challenge, we are facing a challenge. That will give a picture to the entire team that there will be a fun, there will be sport, there will be some adventure, there is some extra efforts that we have to put. Okay, so you are converting that in a challenging way. Like most of us, when we go for a job, we say to the HR or to the manager, hiring manager, that, sir, I want to join just because I need some challenging task. What does it mean? So you are indicating that person that you are thinking big. Like whenever problem will come, you will not backstep. Okay, so in this way you can change your thinking by reading this book. So there is some assignments, that small tips that you can start with, some 2 3 lines I would say. Instead of saying, suppose for a selling person who is in the sale field, I would say, if he will say, I have tried but the product wouldn't sell, people don't want it actually. So instead of saying this, you can start with saying, let me make some changes to it, then start selling. Maybe it is not much saleable in its current form. So if by modifying the form or some doing some corrections, you can make it more saleable. And some people join with a very higher position in the start of their career, and some people get the perception about those people that yes, this is very young, how he will handle those challenges. But instead of saying that I am too young for this job, you can say being young is a distinct advantage. The level of passion, the enthusiasm, the energy that the young people will have, instead of the person who is experienced and getting hired for that higher position, can't be matched. So in this way, you can start thinking big, and you can start learning. So I would say the last tips I would say, every day start your day by saying some positive, add some positive vocabulary in your day-to-day talks. Like use big positive cheerful words and phrases. Like if someone asks you how is your day going, we usually say, don't say I'm really tired, I wish it could be a Saturday or weekend, I don't feel so good. Instead of it, just start saying, just if someone asks you how is your day going, just say it's wonderful, say it's great, it's fine. See, the moment you start feeling it's a wonderful, okay, you will start seeing the wonderful things in your life on a daily basis. If someone will ask you, if someone is complaining about his colleague or some person he's engaging with, okay, that person is not good, he's useless. Instead of saying this, you can replace it with, he's really a fine fellow, he's working out wonderfully well. So eventually you will set the positive thoughts and the positivity of that person, which will bring more positivity towards you for that person. So in this way, you can think, you can change your mindset, I would say. So that's all from my side, the learning that I have, Kiran. Thank you.
Amazing, Charanjit. I'm so happy to see Charanjit evolve, because I've seen him starting initially when he was speaking, and now the energy level, the emotions, the way you're speaking is transformed and superb.
This
I'm so
chapter
happy.
actually touches my heart, I would say. Like even whenever someone asks, like this is the common examples that which is given in the book. Like someone will ask you, "Ki, okay, how are you feeling?" Most of people say, "Yeah, I wish it could be Friday. Friday jaldi aaye." So that we think only the life will start on weekend, not on a day on your weekdays, right? It's just your mindset. If you think big, you will think positive. Then the more positivity you are attracting. That's it.
Absolutely. You proved the topic right. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. So we will move to the next speaker, and उसके बाद आप सबके लिए surprise speaker already ready है. We are giving some time, for him to charge his energy, completely blast the stage here. So Karthik, will take you here
Yeah, Kiran.
next.
You're able to hear me, right?
Yeah, all
Yes.
clear.
Hi, all.
Go ahead.
This is Karthik. I work in the software industry. So I thought of sharing my presentation. Today I'm going to speak about a book called The One Thing. I hope you can see my screen on the book. Okay. So, yeah, coming to this, we all know this Domino's. Domino's, not Domino's Pizza. This is about a domino effect, which I'm going to talk about. See, domino means like if you take a small rectangular flag, like a plywood, and you see 7 such dominoes here, right? So if you see, all the dominoes are like double the size of the previous one. So if the first domino is like only like 2 inches, but if you take the last domino, it's like 3 feet. So if you want to directly slam this 3 feet domino, it will be difficult. So but what this author tells is, just if you give it just a tick to the first one, the small one, it based on the linear progression, it goes and hits the last one. So just because of a tick, there will be a huge slam at the end. So if you come to the like, you have heard of this linear and geometric progression in school days, right? So if you see, the first domino is just 2 inches tall, as I said. But if you go on to the 18th domino, it will be as big as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And if you see the 23rd domino, it will be as big as the Eiffel Tower. If you see the 31st domino, it will be like close to the Mount Everest. And if you take the 57th one, it will be close to the moon. Okay, so we know there are big things and there are small things, but we don't know how these big things are related to the small things. We forget these small things, which usually. Okay, so there is also something called Pareto's principle. So if you see, the 20% of the effort will lead to 80% of the result. See, the extraordinary results are disproportionately created by fewer actions than most realize. I think we would have known this, but we would have known this principle if you see, like in office or outside. 20% of the, like I mean, it's not exactly 80-20 rule. It can be 65 or 70-10, something like that. If the fewer clients will give more feedback, a fewer amount of investment will give more returns. Okay, it's something similar to that. Sometimes if we put small effort, it will be yield in big results. We have observed this also. So coming to the next one, we need to see where our efforts are going. So if you compare the two boxes, we put actions, right? So we all put small actions, we get small outcome. If we put actions which matters based on the big outcome, it will be like, that's what they say, like, think big, act big, succeed big, but you also have to act small when in the right direction towards the big outcome. Just taking an example, if you see how Sam Walton built this one, what do you say, Walmart. So like how J.K. Rowling scripted Harry Potter, like almost 15, I think, before she scripted the first chapter, J.K. Rowling started with, she thought about the 7 years which is going to spend at the college. And similarly, like Sam Walton, like he wanted to avoid a lot of tax savings in the future, and almost he could save 11 to 13 billion dollars of amount for his family. I think it's such a big company, so he would have immediately thought about this in the beginning. So similarly, we have to apply this concept in our other lives as well. Like, what's the one thing we can do which will be for which we'll be getting more results in? It can be finances, it can be spiritual life, it can be physical health, it can be business, it can be job, it can be relationship, it can be personal life. So what is that one main thing which will impact really? So as you can see, we all have someday goal. So what is your goal? Someday we can do. We have to. Someday I have to become like something. So that some is a very common thing we have heard, right? So we have, if we break it to a 5-year goal, 1-year goal, monthly goal, weekly goal, daily goal, and right now. So you can see how the ripple effect, how it will hit the actual goal at the end. So to summarize, I would say the truth is that things don't matter equally, and success is found in doing what matters the most. And doing the most important thing is always the most important thing. And this is one thing. Yeah, this is what I wanted to share, Kiran.
Amazing, amazing, Karthik. Every time you bring a very creative slide, and the visual effect itself, the sways all attention away, and then we start thinking and visualizing. It's like you're listening to the podcast and watching it while watching it is happening. Superbly presented, Karthik. Really, really, really wonderful. One thing is very important. In fact, in the end of the book club, I'll help people to find out the one thing which we can really get and do it together as well. Awesome, Karthik. Thank you so much. So Sana will take you after Parikshit's talk. Okay? Okay. So I am super excited now. I think the time has come. So Parikshit, I know Parikshit for almost maybe close to 1.5, 2 years already, and I have observed him how he has grown, and he's very young guy. So if you don't know him, to give you a basic background, he has hardly 3 years of experience in corporate, and while you listen him, you will realize the way he will talk. If I wouldn't have told you the experience level, आप जज भी नहीं कर पाते कि कितने साल का बंदा है ये, कितने साल कॉर्पोरेट एक्सपीरियंस होगा. But just wait and watch the energy he will speak, and I'm sure आपके वो शॉर्ट सर्किट ना हो जाए. देखते रहना अपने घर पे शॉर्ट सर्किट हो जाएगा तो फिर पावर चले जाएगा. Just watch out for that. And he's very successful in his corporate career as well, and very, very passionately being part of PIM, and he runs his own book clubs as well. And finally I got his time, because I've been so many people after him कि Parikshit को बुलाओ, he'll start speaking, and then finally we got his time to speak with all of us and share his experience and knowledge with all of us as well. So Parikshit bhai, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kiran bhai, for such an amazing warm welcome. It feels so great to be here today. So good evening everyone. So hope everyone is safe. And my name is Parikshit, and I am from Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. And I did my BTech in mechanical from Bhubaneswar. And then currently I am working in a top-notch automobile company as a customer manager, right? And I was listening to some of the speakers like Chiranjit and Karthik. Such a wonderful talk that they're delivering. Such an amazing book reading session is going on, and it feels so great that you all are so much intentional about your self-development, right? It's just awesome, how this association that PIM has created, that Mr. Vijay has created, that is helping us to grow in life. It's not easy, right? So today I have a very important and relevant topic for everyone that will surely help you to develop the leader within you. So make good notes, right? Today, I will discuss about the most sought after skill set, that is public speaking, right? We all have to be leaders in future, whether we want to be a good in corporate ladder, or we want to be good in a business or in any profession. We have to be a good public speaker. Public speaking is the most important asset of a leader. So let's discuss, what is this all about? So we will discuss about some of the fundamentals of public speaking. So before starting that, let me first, clear a myth that surrounds public speaking. Many people think that public speaking is a talent. Some people think it's a skill. Some people think it's a combination of both talent and skill, right? So let me first break the myth by saying that public speaking is just like any other skill. If you put enough time and effort to it, you will master it, right? So in public speaking, you will see both your skill set and your mindset is important. So let me take a very short example to explain how these both are important. Suppose if you want to jump in a swimming pool, right? So ask yourself, why are you jumping in swimming pool? Is it just that you want to get yourself wet, or do you want to become the next champion swimmer? That is the mindset that you should carry, right? And skill set is you should know how to swim. That is the mindset and the skill set that I'm talking about that you should carry while public speaking. If you observe the word speaking, right? Speak king. So the king is in the second part of the word, right? So, whenever you are talking in front of people, feel like a king and a queen. Speak with authority and respect. That should be the mindset, when you are doing public speaking. That is the mindset that I'm talking about. So now let me first define who is a public speaker, because many people think that, whenever you are talking in front of thousands of people, then only you will be tagged as a public speaker, right? So let me first define who is actually a public speaker. It's very simple. Whenever you separate yourself from the crowd, you are a public speaker. Whenever you are separating from a group of people, you are a public speaker, right? So now there is a very powerful quote that I will tell you. Do note it down. It will help you. It will shift your mind. It will blow your mind. Write it down. There is a very powerful quote that revolves around public speaking, which says, if the audience is sleeping, someone has to wake up the speaker. Let me repeat. It might sound a little confusing at first. If the audience is sleeping, someone has to wake up the speaker. Right? So that is the power of the speaker. We cannot just blame the audience. Yaar, wo log interest nahi le rahe, wo log so rahe, right? It's all about the speaker. So now down there, let's discuss about the fear of public speaking, because it has been found that after death, the second most highest priority fear is public speaking, right? So why do people fear public speaking? You can take a very simple example. As per science, hardly 1 to 2% of snakes are actually poisonous. Hardly 1 to 2% of snakes are actually poisonous. But just recall, last time when you saw some snake, what was the first thought that came in your mind? I'm sure it was like, अरे ये तो मेरे को काट लेगा, ये तो जहरीला होगा, मेरा क्या हो जाएगा, right now? So why does this happen? It's all about psychology, if you'll see, because our mind has been conditioned to look for negativities, right? So that's why we forget that 98% of snakes are not poisonous. We are always focusing on 1 to 2% of snakes and thinking, yaar, ye to wahi saap hoga, isme zahar hoga. Just like that, in public speaking, whenever a person goes to a stage, talks in front of people, most people, they fear because they always focus on 1 to 2% of the negative people who will always be there in audience. You cannot do anything. There will always be those people who will think, अरे इसको तो कुछ बोलना नहीं आता, ये कैसे बोल रहा है, तो ठीक से proper आता नहीं सब चीज. There will always be there 1 to 2% of people. But the question is, what is your focus on? Are you focusing on that 1 to 2%, or are you focusing on the rest 98% of the audience that actually want to listen from you, that actually want to hear from you, they want to get a lot of learnings from you? So you have to remove this fear just by shifting your focus from that negative 1 to 2% of people to that 98 positive people. Then you will cure yourself from the LKK disease, also called as log kya kahenge. Right? If you want to be a good public speaker, you have to remove this. Very important. Now let me discuss about a very important phenomena that happens in public speaking, which says that people will like you and dislike you even before you open your mouth. Right? You must be thinking a public speaker to kuch bolega, uske baad log samjhenge ki isko judge karenge. But let me remind you, in public speaking, people start liking, disliking even before you open your mouth. That's what public speaking is all about. Correct? Because human beings are hardwired for snap judgments, right? So don't worry about all these things. Whenever you are speaking in front of people, stand in the center of the stage. Stand in center, in front of the stage. And whenever you are going on in front of people, speak like a king and queen. Don't be in a rush to speak. Do you think if a queen is, talking in front of their people, do you think they will be in a rush to speak? No. They will, look at people, they will smile, they will pause, and they will speak in their own way because they are king and queen. So we have to have that mindset of speaking that, right? So, the start of public speaking, whenever the start is happening, it has two main objectives. First is drag the attention of the audience. Your first 2-3 lines, first few seconds will determine if the audience will take interest in you or not. So first 10 seconds, your whole objective should be to drag the attention of your audience, right? The second thing is, before you started talking, the audience mindset was point A. Your objective should be, after your talk ends, the audience mindset should be at point B. That is all about public speaking. You are shifting the mindsets of people, right? So in order to do that, we have to engage our audience, correct? So if you'll see, there are two methods how you can engage your audience. First is called, as you can write it down, it is called physical engagement. You will see many speakers who will say, raise your hand, clap your hands, look left, look right, do this, do that, right? This is called as physical engagement. But there is a much more powerful engagement than physical engagement that, the top public speakers use this skill. That is called as, write it down, very powerful, cerebellum engagement. Cerebellum, if you know, it is a part of the brain. Cerebellum engagement means when your mind is getting engaged with the audience mind. Your thoughts, your stories are getting engaged with audience. That is the cerebellum engagement. That is the most powerful engagement that actually shifts mindset of the audience, right? And you will be surprised to see in a survey, it was found that body language and vocal variety plays a much more impact than only good content, right? You must have seen there are lots of people, who are technically very sound, who have lots of very good content, but they are not able to express themselves properly because they don't know the body language or the vocal variety that they have to use, right? You have to understand your body language should support your content. If you are, talking in an energetic manner and you are just, closing your hands and just standing in single place, it will not reciprocate, right? So first we have to understand our body language. And in that, there is a very powerful quote, you can write it down. Every part of your body speaks. Every part of your body speaks, not just your mouth. Every part. When you are speaking in front of people, every part is speaking. So there are three most important parts that speaks the most. First is our hands. You will see, since beginning of my talk, I am moving my hands naturally. This is called as natural movement of hands. Or if you are, speaking and your hands are not moving naturally, what you can try is called as steeple method. You can write it down. You can Google it later. STEEPLE, steeple method. You can also do that with your hands when you are speaking in public. Second thing is our legs. So what you can do is, whenever you are standing in front of people, move towards the person that you are looking at in the audience. you're looking at that person, move towards him, and again return back to your original place. Again, you look at different person, move towards them, again come back to your center position on the stage. That you can do with your legs. Third thing is your eyes. Eyes speaks the most. What you can do with your eyes? You can do is simple rule. Change the sentence, change the person. Change the sentence, change the person you're looking at. That's a simple formula that you can use in public speaking. Now the second thing comes the vocal variety. Right? You must have observed since the beginning of my talk, my voice was not monotonous. Right? There was ups and downs. I was speaking some slow, some fast. That is the vocal variety. There are three things you can write it down in vocal variety. First is the speed of speaking, also called as words per minute. So in ideal public speaking, 160 to 180 is the ideal words per minute that you should speak. Second thing is volume, right? Your volume should sometimes go up, sometimes go down. Third thing is your tone. You will see words itself has no meanings. So it's the objective, it's the purpose of the public speaker to put emotions behind those words, right? That is your tone. Now comes the third thing. We discussed about the vocal variety and body language. Now the third thing I'm talking about is the content. Because just having a good vocal variety and body language and you don't have a good content, no one will listen to you. So it's very important that you have a good content as well. So to prepare a good content, I will give a very simple method that is called as 3S storytelling method. You can write it down. 3S storytelling method. So what is this 3S all about? First S means setup. Setup means you have to take your audience to the past. You will see a lot of speakers who, start their talk about their past, what has happened, what were they doing earlier, 10 years back, 5 years back. That is the setup. Second S means struggle. No struggle, no story. So there has to be a struggle, through which you grow in life. So third S means success. Success, doesn't necessarily mean in terms of money or wealth. Success also means the critical learnings that you went through during your struggle period. So these are the 3S: setup, struggle, and success. This is the 3S method of storytelling. So that's all for today. I'm sure you all must have made good notes. This platform, this book reading club, is the best platform that you can exercise this skill. Because remember, you cannot learn swimming just by watching YouTube videos. Can you? You can't. So keep coming to this book reading clubs, keep exercising this public speaking skill. This is the most amazing and the most sought after skill in the market. So keep developing, and I would just like to conclude by saying every great speaker was once a bad speaker. This should give you hope, right? Every great speaker was once a bad speaker. So don't fear public speaking, embrace it and conquer the world. I hope I have added a value to you all. Thank you so much, Kiran, for inviting me. It was a wonderful sharing with all those people and learning from them as well. Great. Thank you so much, Kiran. Over to you.
Thank you, Parikshit bhai. I'm sure बहुत सारे short circuit हो चुके होंगे. The energy of transfer from virtual reality to the real reality is tremendous. Really appreciate your efforts, Parikshit bhai, and the kind of energy, the kind of content you got. You actually prove whatever you spoke. You brought voice inflection, you brought emotions, you brought voice, tone, कैसे बात करना ऊपर नीचे, सब कुछ आपने डाल के उसको बता दिया. I think that is more than enough for people, as all of us here, to at least implement 10%. अगर 10% भी हम लोग next time implement कर दिया, then actually we can, it is Parikshit का जो बोलते हैं ना, a token of gratitude, that is actually done. And I'm sure I will inform you, Parikshit bhai, your effort will never go waste. It will bring a lot of colors, and I'll definitely share with you. And thank you so much for sharing your heart out.
Thank you so much, Kiran. You're looking forward to the next session. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Great. We'll move to the next speaker then. If we have any new people we have missed out for introduction, yeah, I think we've taken everyone. In case we have missed out for any new folks, please message me privately. I will take up with that. So we'll move to the next speaker. We'll have Powerpuff Girls. No, 3 ladkiyan ek saath jayenge. Let's start with Sahana. Sahana, you can go ahead with your topic.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, Sahana, you're loud and clear.
Thank you so much, Parikshit. It was really nice, insightful of public speaking skills. So next time we are all on stage, I'm sure we are good to take it up. Yeah, so I'm here, I'm Sahana, and I'm basically from Bangalore, and I work over here in an investment bank. So I have a very simple topic, but this topic actually had a lot of takeaways for me. So I think this is a school from Surat, and this name of the school is Fountainhead School. So the name is very unique. So when I heard the name, it was very catchy. I felt it like I went back to some good old days of pre-nursery, things like that. So yeah, so it's about how this Fountainhead School started. Basically, this was the founder is Vardhan Kavra along with his wife Ankita, and this guy is actually was someone who was so ambitious and gave up on an offer that PNG gave him back in 2004. So these are all from IIM Ahmedabad. So IIM, definitely IITs and IIMs should definitely have a big name and a lot of future, and they also have big packages. I must say that. So he rejected an offer that PNG gave him to pursue his dream of being an entrepreneur. By childhood nature, he was someone who was ambitious to become, to pursue an army. But later on, we all have dreams in our childhood, but we pursue something else, ending up doing an IIT, an engineering, a JEE, or whatever it is. So it was the same story for him. But one of the events that when his seniors came over to his college when he was in second or third year, I believe, so that caught him very well of being an entrepreneur, and he even got a little jealous. So I think this was a healthy way of being jealous, because you take good competition. You take this as a good competition for growing. So he had that ambition in him to start off his own venture. And then for something he visited a school called Ekalavya in Ahmedabad, and it kindled him the idea of starting a school. And he initially started the school in sometime during 2005 with 6 students, I believe. 6 students. And by 9th month, they were at 50 plus kids. So that's like a lot of improvement. But this wasn't easy. So when we see, he also has mentioned that, he had media influence, and it was easy for him to get along with all the hurdles, but it wasn't the same for him. So what happened, he had invested, he and his wife Ankita invested around 13 lakhs, started the school. So basically he started a preschool, because it was not easy to start a big school at that point of time. So we need to take baby steps to complete a full marathon. So he also it took a lot of time, effort, and also he had to invest on lands and all, which he found it a little difficult. But through process and like-minded people along with him, around 11 friends of his, took up different logistics that was supposed to be taken to complete the work of the school, and they became really successful. So by around 2008, they were with 140 plus kids, and good infrastructure and good land, spacious land. So that's like, he went through a lot of hurdles with the land. And then when he was giving his interview to Rashmi Bansal for this book, which is called Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish. The name is very simple, and he's mentioned that, it takes time for big dreams to materialize. So all successful people we see are not just, cakewalk. It will definitely take some time. So we need to see the success stories below the iceberg. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to share. He's also helping a lot of poor kids, which is one of his ambitions. So stay hungry, stay foolish, and Ye Hai Youngistan Meri Jaan is the name of the chapter. Very, very, very homely, I feel.
Absolutely wonderful sharing, Sahana. In fact, the reason I gave her that topic is because the kind of content the speaker is sharing, it is very, very similar. It is very, very relatable to most of us, and especially people who are in education industry and who have some desire to really grow. And success doesn't partiality नहीं करता है success किसी से भी. Doesn't matter your IIT, IIM, doesn't matter. Success is always non-biased, and it will only give to someone who does things right. Great. Thank you so much, Sahana, for sharing your heart out. Great. So we'll move to the next speaker. Mahima, if you're online, we can go ahead with you.
Hi, Kiran.
Hello. Is it possible for you to switch on your video as well?
Yeah, I have.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So, good evening, everyone. My topic for the evening is from the book which I'm reading, which is Think and Grow Rich. So, the chapter I was reading was about faith. So, I wanted to basically start by saying that a lot of people tell you to have faith in yourself or believe in yourself, but they never tell you how to do it. So, you can always have faith, but you also need to understand how you can have faith in yourself, right? So it basically has been mentioned in the chapter that there is not exactly a solution to it, but there is one thing that you can do, which is one of the keywords in the topic, which is auto-suggestion. So auto-suggestion basically means telling yourself affirmations about what you desire, and then that actually makes your mind convert it into something that is the physical counterpart of your desire. So, like an example, if you desire a lot of money, the physical counterpart of the money is the hard copy of the money that you acquire. So, that is basically how you can have faith. So, faith is basically the connection between your desire and actually achieving your goal. So, one important thing that I thought of when I was reading the book was it's a small example about how actually faith gets created in a person. So faith actually gets created by looking at behaviors around you. So when you're a small child, for example, and you see your parents or your elder siblings, whatever they do, the actions that they have makes you decide the behavior of yourself later on in the future. So if I'm suppose looking at my elder brother or my elder sister and I see them that they're always very productive, they read books, and they are up to date with general knowledge and everything, I start following them and I believe that that is how I'm supposed to be in life. But if I look at my elder brother who's only going out partying, who's only watching movies and wasting time, I start believing that this is how I'm also supposed to be. So that works in a negative way and in a positive way. So basically everything that you see in life starts impacting your brain, and your brain starts accepting that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and then they start acting upon the same thing. So that is one example. Also what happens is in terms of people believing in bad faith, sometimes when you come from a poor family or a family that doesn't have a lot, people start telling that this is how life's supposed to be, this was my luck, my entire life was written this way. They keep telling themselves that, and then their brain starts believing that this is how it actually is and I can't do anything beyond this, and this is the certain point that I'm supposed to reach. And that's where they exactly stop. But if a person who doesn't come from a great background and they start pushing themselves, they believe in themselves, they have the faith, they create that faith in their mind, then they will be able to grow in a vast way, which is not possible for someone in his entire, space, or in his entire society. So that is one of the most important things about this chapter. It tells you that anything that you want, you need to write it down and you need to keep telling yourself that it is possible. Even if you believe it's not possible, you have to just keep telling that I can do it and this is something that I want to achieve. And if you tell yourself that, then your subconscious mind itself finds out solutions on achieving it. And that's what makes your faith in yourself start increasing after one point of time. So there are a lot of people who also tell you that, just stand in front of the mirror in the morning and maybe in the night before sleeping and tell yourself that, I will be successful, I will make a lot of money, or I am fit, something like that. So if you keep telling yourself for maybe a month, you might not believe it. You will just keep telling it, you will find it funny. After some time, your brain itself starts believing it. And at one point, it will start showing you the results, which will make you believe it because of the results. So that is basically the entire concept of this book. So have faith. Tell yourself, even if you don't have any, your mind will start developing the faith for you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I think Mahima has shared a very big secret, and I'm sure very few people are applying it, because अगर apply कर लिए होते तो result जो आपके सामने है वो होता नहीं. Because if you're expecting something, if you're not getting it, it's because you're not applying those things. And it sounds very simple, but trust me, apply करना ही उतना ही difficult है. ये जितना ज़्यादा simple है, अगर apply कर लिए तो फिर magic तो होना ही होना है. And thank you so much, Mahima, for sharing this chapter. Superbly shared. Great. So we'll move to the next speaker, Revati. If you're online, if you're ready, we can take you.
Hi, Kiran.
Hi,
Can you
Revati.
hear me? Hi.
Yeah. It's audible. If it is possible, let me just walk you. Go ahead, Revati.
Good evening, everybody. I am Revati and I am from Bangalore. So the topic that I am talking today is from what we tell to ourselves. So the book is actually what to say when you talk to yourself, and this is the first chapter which tells about looking for a better way. So I'm sure everyone in our life, we want a very good job, very successful life, a good might be a very luxurious home and everything. I mean, we want the life to be happier, but see, often the things might not go the way that we want. So what could be the reason? And sometimes we simply say, it is my fate. So it is my fate. That's all I am up to. But is it really a right way of thinking? Just limiting ourselves, thinking that this is due to the fate that it has happened, or are we really looking for a better way? Like, what could be the reason, or what can I do about it? So, so the main point I'm trying to tell here is, it's not always we look at the wall which we have created for ourselves. We have to look beyond that and crossing beyond the wall. So now I am saying the wall. So like, what is this wall exactly about? So the wall is nothing but we always limit ourselves. See, this is what that I can do. I cannot do more than this. But why do we even think in this way? So there could be many factors, right? From our childhood, might be we are told, okay, you can't do this, or you're not supposed to do this. You should be like this. You shouldn't be like that. But see, when I know that I want something in my life, and I'm really very passionate about it, so I have to cross those limits and think beyond that. Okay, so now when I'm saying think beyond it, is it so simple in doing that? So like what's the solution for it in doing that? So I'm sure everyone must be like, we are attending the PIM sessions, we hear too many motivational speeches, like great people like Sadhguru or Guru Gopal Das or whomever it might be. But I mean, whatever they say, everything is 100% correct. But did we ever think like why it is not happening, or what is that actually avoiding us from doing those things? I mean, to be successful. So the simple thing that we always miss here is how our brain is actually working. So how the human psychology actually works. So what actually happens is, like even Mahima was mentioning earlier, so we always limit ourselves, right? So when you always keep telling this, okay, this is my limit, I'll not be able to do something beyond that, or might be your colleagues or at the office or anything it could be. So we always keep telling that, and we make ourselves believe that I can't do beyond that. But to avoid that, what can we do about it? So see, the brain works in a simple way. If you are giving garbage into it, it will give you the garbage as the output. So it's just like a computer. But if I want to get a successful output, I should always talk positive things to myself. So that is how the brain will think, and it will consider that to be the truth, and accordingly I'll give a positive output. So I just want to tell a small story, so like, which my dad often used to tell to me. So like, what happens, by mistake, the egg of a eagle, it comes and mixes with the poultry. So I mean, where the usual hatcheries are there. So once this baby eagle comes out, it always mingles with the small chicks. It eats the same kind of food and everything, I mean, the environment or whatever. So it actually forgets that it is a eagle and how height it can fly and everything. So it limits itself. And one day, but to its surprise, it sees that I look similar to the bird which is flying in sky high, but why I am not able to fly? So this is something comes up into its mind. And one day a eagle comes to it and tells, see, you are always going with the chicks and you are thinking this is my limit, so you are not even trying at least. So then it tries to fly high, and finally it will be successful. So it remembers itself that, okay, I'm not meant to be like a chick and I have to fly high. So yeah, so it's finally, like, what I would say is, see, there can be many challenges and many problems we face, but it is at least for us to give it try to explore our full potential rather than thinking it is my fate or what can't be done or what are the no's. That's it, Kiran.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your heart out. Again, the best part I loved it was the story which you shared, the eagle. And I think most of us, सबके साथ almost ऐसा होता ही है. हम लोग भूल जाते हैं, we are so powerful and we don't change. So wonderful story to share, Revati. Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you.
We'll move to the next speaker. So we have a very young speaker who was very pretty fired up. He went to Bharat's book club also, spoke there also, and he told कि किरण मुझे यहाँ पे भी बोलना है. मैं like बिल्कुल aware. We want excited people. So Shahid, you can go ahead. I'll spotlight you.
Okay. So hi guys, my name is Shahid Pasha and I am a student of Bachelor of Commerce and I'm a still student. And I would like to tell you today I have selected such a topic in which I'm going to talk about your life as well as my life. I have selected such a topic, something called change your life. Yes, everything has to change according to its way, might be about environment, might be which is related to anything. You can take anything in this world. Everything should change and the changes are the nature of law. But whether you are changing according to the way, how the other things are changing. Even your mobile phones are getting updates day by day. Even your mobile phones get an update twice or thrice in a month. Whether you are, getting changes, whether you are updating yourself, that's my question. And I feel like most of us thinking that we are changing ourselves, but really we are not changing. If you are seeing inside your heart, inside your mind, then definitely you can get to know that you are definitely not changing. Please try to change it. Like whatever you have in your mind, might be you have lots of desires, lots of goals, lots of dreams, lots of ideas in your mind, but you are unable to execute it. You are not doing it in a reality world. In a real world, you are not doing that. Guys, I'm telling that today, if you are changing now, if you are taking such kind of decisions that I'm going to be successful in your life, in my life, and if I am going to be, I can do it, then definitely you can do it. So all those things, if you believe in yourself, then please try to change yourself. My main purpose to come here is just to make, changes of my life. As I am young and I am taking lots of decisions to change my life. Maybe you people are 23 years, maybe you are in 30 years. You can see yourself turning back to your life, that whether you have taken such kind of decisions in your life or not. If you have taken your decisions at that time, you are unable to give any kind of blamings, any kind of suggestions that now I am this way. You can see your life before that. If you would have taken such kind of decisions, if you have invited changes in your life at that time, you would have enjoying your success still here. Success, we everyone have their ideas, their goals, their success. I mean, they want to become successful in their lives, but the question is whether you are doing all those things which the successful people are doing. Things they do, I mean, successful people do very simple things. Maybe you can consider waking up early in the morning, reading books and doing little things which we won't do. The things which they do we won't do, and the things we do and they don't do. So that's the difference. That's a simple difference that we have. Please try to change it. Please try to understand that if you are inviting the changes now, you can be happy in your life, you can be successful in your life. When you are at your death stage, when you are in the ages of 50s, 60s, at that time you may feel like I have enjoyed my life in a proper manner and I am a successful person. You may feel like that. If you are not taking decisions, if you are not changing your life, then definitely you feel guilty about all the things which you have done till your death. So guys, please try to understand, create success in your life. And there are two kinds of changes. One is, which you change yourself, and the another one is you change your life. Most of the people are confused about these both things. We people think that am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, Shahid, you're audible. Go ahead. Your video was little weak, so I just switched off your video. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I was telling you that there are two kinds of changes. One is you change yourself, and the another one is you change your life. Most of the people feel like they are changing their life, but instead they are changing their life. They are changing themselves. Maybe lots of people may tell you that you have changed, man. So that's the reason. When the time will change you, when the time situations will change you, at that time you will change, not your life will change. When you change, when you take an initiative to change yourself, when you take an initiative to change your life, then you will feel like you are going to change. I mean, your life is going to change. Thank you so much for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. And I would like to say thank you, Kiran, for giving me this platform. Thank you so much, Prabha.
Wonderful, Shahid. Amazing energy. In fact, if I just remember my days when I was at your age, I'm just thinking, man, now the way you're speaking, and if you what kind of person you'll turn out to be after next 3-4 years. Amazing, man. Amazing. Keep doing it consistently. I'm sure you'll impact many people coming ahead. Thank you so much, man, for sharing your heart out. Great. So we'll have final. I think we're almost done with time. We have couple of speakers. I hope we can take them. So we can take next Bhaskar. If you're available, you can go ahead and speak, and then we can take Chachu as the last speaker. Bhaskar, if you're online, you can speak. Bhaskar Reddy. I think there could be some network issue. Dilip Chachu, you can go ahead. If he's online, we can take it next. Yeah.
Yes, Kiran.
Go ahead, Chachu.
So, Kiran, today, like I selected the topic handling complaints. How we do in our life, like how do we handle the complaints about others? Normally, what happens, like whenever we get into a discussion with someone, and I am taking this. I have taken this topic from the book "How to Win Friends and Influence People" by Dale Carnegie. So he says, like whenever we whenever we discuss on any topic, we are trying to always try to impose our thoughts over the audience or over the other people. So we normally what we do, we don't listen to them. And by the way, we are missing their understanding and their thought as well. And without understanding their requirement, normally what we do is we give a suggestion which they don't need. So that is where, like, we negatively that impacts negatively. So, and I'll give you some some of the examples. Like mostly we have people at our home, like kids or as a young age, and they and we don't normally what we do, we don't understand their thinking, and we again without understanding that, we keep on saying, we keep on giving orders. Okay, so by that way we are losing their those kids and or other people, they lose their temper, and they lose their and because they are not able to open up, and they don't, this finally, like, if we keep on having this kind of habit, so they stop sharing, they don't share, because we never want to understand what they want, like, what they want to convey, or what they want to communicate. So Dale Carnegie gave some few of the examples. Once what happened, there was an automobile company, manufacturer company, and that company asked for some samples from different companies for samples of clothes. So 3-4 companies gave send them their representative to present the fabrics. So what happened, like so many all the representatives, they given the chance to present their fabric, but one of them got all of a sudden got impacted with the kind of disease kind of laryngitis, and that is where like that gentleman got had lost his voice, and he was speechless. When his turn came, what he did, he couldn't speak, and what he did, he just wrote in a paper that, gentlemen, I have lost my voice and I am speechless, I can't speak anything. So suddenly the president took him in confidence, and he explained, the president itself explained about the product, because he knows about the product. And finally he started praising about their fabric, and finally he won the order. So that is a kind of situation happens when we give others to talk. Similarly, another case we had, Dale Carnegie is explaining about a person called Cubilis. He went to an interview, and that was the finance for the finance banking company. And when he went there, before the interview itself, he started praising, like how tough time that the owner of the financial banking company came across in his life, and started just triggered. And finally what happened, the company, the owner himself started like got overwhelmed with his response, and he said, oh yes, I did that, I did this, that, and he started speaking. So in this way, like he had a better communication, and instead of him speaking, he asked, like he let the owner of the financial banking company spoke much about himself, and finally he got a very good communication and a very good relation, and finally he got his got through his interview. So this is the kind of benefits, so many benefits, when we never should never try to impose or win the other people by influence. We should learn from them, try to understand from their pain points, so that we can give it better suggestions. We can give a bit yeah but we can give them the better suggestions, and that is where like we always can win. And that is the idea author is going to Dale Carnegie is going to give in this particular topic handling complaints.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chachu, for sharing two very interesting stories. And I think that is a very key learnings which we all are learning, because if we can really implement it, then किसी को hurt किए बिना भी हम लोग बहुत अच्छी चीजें create कर सकते हैं. Very nice. Awesome. So I was really happy that today was a very good, we covered a lot of speakers, and yes, I definitely had a very wonderful topic, but I won't be sharing today this week. But let me just give you a thought so that next week we all are prepared for it. Achha, I'll ask everyone a question. What do you think a good day is? अच्छा दिन का definition क्या है? Hope my question is clear. What is the definition of a good day? People can unmute and share their responses if you can hear me clearly.
Hello, sir.
हाँ बोलो शायद.
Yeah. In my opinion, good day is something like when we use it in a productive manner, like getting up early in the morning, and from there onwards, your total day is on schedule. Like you should do this, you should do that, and by that you should get advantages also. So I feel like if you are utilizing all your day in learning something, doing what you want to do, then definitely it's gonna be good day.
Okay, शायद का opinion भी ले लेते हैं. Maybe it's right. Who else wants to add? What is it?
I want to add.
Yeah, Bhaskar, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, what I feel a good day is like for many days we'll feel thinking, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. So on some day we decide, okay, let's go and do it. So
Okay.
if not something which is not started for a long time, I feel very good from that day.
Awesome. Awesome. You are also right, Bhaskar. Anyone else wants to add? We'll take 3 more responses quickly.
Okay.
Kiran.
Who is speaking? Acha, Girija Jiju, you start. Then we'll have another 3 people.
Sorry, I have, let me turn off my video.
That's okay.
So, as for me, a good day is a day whenever you have done something selfless and which has impacted a lot of people other than you, and you get a good sleep after it, and something you have spent that day as if it is your last day of your life, and yeah, that's my definition.
Cool. Who else? Who else want to add? Then I think
Viraj has already steal my point, but I'll add something to it. Good day is something when you get a good night. This is the shortest thing that I can say.
Perfect.
Wow,
Very nice.
amazing.
Yeah. Who else?
A good day.
Yeah,
Who is speaking first? Let's just a second.
you can go ahead, Sahana.
Sahana,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, so it's a good day when you feel contented and you don't have any worries. So you are tired, being busy, productive, and good. You're happy that day. So that's a good day, according to me.
Okay. Cool. Who else? Revati, you can also share your thoughts.
Yeah, Kiran. So for me, good day is something like when I'm content for that day, whether it's a job or anything it could be. So I want to be content for whatever I have contributed. And yeah, most importantly, if I have really helped someone in any way. So that actually I find that is very content and it gives happiness to me, which is good day.
Perfect. Another perspective to learn. Who else? Papa, आप भी कुछ बोलना चाह रहे थे, I think. My father wanted to add.
Yeah, I wanted to say same way. That's a good day. The startup, your activity, day-to-day activity, your own activity, whatever you did, whether professional or personal or the thing, should be better for you, your society, your family, and yeah, something good you did for your others, and you get very much satisfaction and go for sound sleep and think for ask God, oh God, I have done something great and I'm got full satisfaction and may I get good sleep, and tomorrow, the coming tomorrow should also be like that. I wish and I want your blessings, oh God. That is the good day. Enough.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think the thoughts are coming from a lot of experience. I can feel that. Wonderful. And Karthik, you also wanted to add?
I think it depends on the perspective. You can make the day good or bad. I think it's in your hand.
Okay.
I would say when you have target of achieving 100%, and you achieved 95%.
Okay.
The last 5% will give you the kick to achieve on the next day, and again the same thing continues.
Okay.
So it will give you the complete energy for the next day.
Absolutely, you're also right. Let me ask the next level of question for you to think. Maybe आपने और सबका definition तो बोल दिया है. Next question comes how to create one. सबका definition तो पता ही है, good day कैसा है and all, and I'm sure you have very good definition. The next question is how to create one. And I'm sure, yeah, Karthik.
Attend book club.
Okay, but book club is not every day, no? Book club is only once in a week. PM is once in a week. So next you start thinking about how to create your good day.
Hi, Kiran.
Yeah,
Hi,
Shahid.
Kiran. Yeah, actually, I'd like to tell you, when you wake up early in the morning and you spend your day, finally, while you are going to sleep, at the time I used to do, like I used to prepare a plan for tomorrow in my mind or in my rough book, something like that. I used to plan for those things which are productive and which are unproductive also. Like I used to plan waking up early in the morning, like maybe at 5 o'clock or maybe at 6 o'clock. After waking up at that time what you should do for the first time. Might be spiritual things for the first time, and after that, after prayers and all those things, you should focus on those things which is very necessary to you. One thing I planned that whenever I used to plan, a day at the time, I used to pick up all those things which should which is very important in my life, which may give me to go for my success, and which helps me to achieve my success. So that thing I select first. After that, on the basis of your day, you are going to select the other things also. So this is my experience. So I do like that.
Awesome, Shahid. That is also a very wonderful way to put. Absolutely right. So guys, think about this question, how to create one. The reason I'm asking is because आपको already अपना definition पता है, and ऐसा नहीं कि you don't have information. And the most critical area is, this is where people fail. People don't know how to create a good day. We know what is a good day, we feel it is a good day or not, but we actually don't know how to create it. And many times I'm sure बहुतों के साथ ऐसा होता है कि एक बार खराब हो जाता है तो we'll start attracting all other things. उसी दिन में सब कुछ बुरा उसी दिन में होगा. And it'll be like, जैसे domino effect बोला था कार्तिक ने, domino effect. Once a small thing happened, it'll create a domino effect and everything will go wrong. So that is where we miss out. And the question is for you, how to create a good day, and why don't people understand how to create it? And everyone knows that every day is a very essential day for tomorrow. So today is very, very essential. Whatever we have today, it is very, very essential. But why are we failing to create a good day? So this is a question I will leave it on you, because next week my topic will be to tell few things. What are the misconceptions and how exactly people pursue the good day, and what kind of changes and what kind of myths we all are falling in, which will help us to go away from it and focus on something pretty amazing. And there's something very shocking news. I don't know many people are aware of it or not. आपने शेक्सपियर का नाम सुना होगा, विलियम शेक्सपियर. He is a very good author and writer. And there's another writer called Oscar Wilde. अगर सबने वो मूवी देखा होगा तारे जमीन पर, उसमें वो दिखाता है ना, ऑस्कर वाइल्डे का फोटो दिखाता है. But do you know the news that he died pathetically at the age of 46 and he was bankrupt, and बहुत ही बुरी तरह से मरा है वो बंदा. And I will connect that result and with what we are starting to discuss on these questions, and see you next week. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of thoughts right now, and I'm super excited to meet you next week and see you again in this
we will
weekend.
be waiting for eagerly.
Absolutely.
Like वही कटप्पा killed Bahubali.